Quick ask. Subscribe now, then let's jump in with the numbers. Across the last few years, everyone told the same story. The Sun Belt and Mountain West were forever hot, and the coast would always recover. But 2025 is rewriting that script. For sale signs are staying up longer, fresh listings aren't getting mobbed, and inventory is quietly building in places that were can't miss. So where did the buyers go? Are they priced out by the payment stack, rate, taxes, insurance, HOA, or just waiting for the next cut? And if you're about to list, are you still pricing to last spring while demand has already pivoted somewhere else? Tonight we're running a reality check, not a doom scroll. I'm counting down the top 10 states where housing inventory is up but buyers are missing, and we'll unpack what the signals mean for your next move. A few names will be familiar, a few will sting, and number one is not the state you think it is. This is an early warning playbook. I'll show you how to read rising days on market, the jump in price reductions, and the return of concessions before the headlines catch up. If you're selling, we'll talk about pricing to today, not yesterday, and using incentives to protect your timeline. If you're buying, we'll map when patience turns into leverage so you don't overpay by habit. The goal is simple. Move from impulse to strategy. Learn the signals before they trend. Protect your margin, and decide with data, not nostalgia. Because in this market, smart beats fast every single time. Let's begin now. To understand the 2025 reset, rewind the boom. Remote work unglued geography, tech kept hiring, investors chased yield, and cheap money compressed monthly payments. Builder pipelines lagged demand, so scarcity did the marketing. Homes sold in hours, inspection waivers felt normal, and even imperfect houses rode a rising tide. That momentum taught everyone a reflex. If you love it, overpay now or lose it forever. Then the turn arrived. Mortgage rates climbed and every borrowed dollar became heavier. Insurance repriced roofs, hurricanes, wildfires, and liability. HOAs raised dues to rebuild reserves and cover aging elevators, pools, and parking decks. Tax reassessments followed pandemic-era appreciation, and utilities aren't exactly going on sale. Layer on return-to-office friction, slower hiring in tech and logistics, and a cost-of-living ceiling in many metros. And you get the same outcome. The true monthly, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA, plus utilities, swelled faster than wages. When the payment outgrows the paycheck, buyers don't protest. They pause. Pendings soften, days on market widen, and inventory normalizes from starved to merely tight. That's not a crash. It's a deceleration. Prices bend, not break. In some places, sticky supply and high incomes absorb the shock. In others, expectations still live in 2022, while buyers live in spreadsheets, and the spread between list and reality grows. Here's the lens I want you to use. Ignore slogans and weigh the carry. If the property only works after a miracle refinance, it doesn't work. If the HOA minutes forecast special assessments, price them today, not later. Some states will adjust quickly, others will stall hard and offer patience dividends to disciplined shoppers. We'll map which is which in the countdown so you can pivot from fear and FOMO to timing, terms, and leverage. The real edges in 2025. This is a reset, not a reckoning. Act accordingly. Here's how we rank states. No hype, just signals you can verify. We use a 3 to 6 month composite where days on market rise, active inventory builds, the share of price cuts increases, pending sales slip, absorption rate falls, and median sale price growth flattens or turns negative. Then we clean the data, adjust for seasonality, post-holiday rehits, and composition shifts such as luxury or new build surges that skew medians. We also strip out one-off shocks like weather events or temporary policy changes. If a state wobbles for a week, it doesn't qualify. Only sustained deceleration across multiple indicators makes the countdown, so you can separate noise from trend and negotiate from evidence, not emotion. That's how we keep this list honest. At number 10, Washington shows how momentum fades before headlines notice. Tech paychecks still look strong on paper, yet payment fatigue is visible in the neighborhoods just off the trophy streets. Mid-rise condos that sold themselves in 2022 now need help. Dues rising to rebuild reserves, insurance repricing older roofs, and special assessments that make a decent sticker feel heavy. Inventory is inching up outside the perfect listings, and weekend traffic feels cautious instead of frantic. Pendings lag in HOA-heavy buildings as buyers model the all-in monthly and realize the leftover won't cover childcare or savings. Sellers respond with credits, rate buydowns, and prepaid dues, but many start by pricing to last spring and lose the first 30 days. Watch the signals. Days on market creeping past a month, the share of price cuts rising, and a wider gap between turnkey and average condition. If you're shopping, underwrite the building, not the skyline. Read minutes, reserves, and upcoming projects. Washington isn't breaking, it's breathing. Yet breathing is enough to shift leverage toward patient, prepared buyers who negotiate the payment, not just the price. That is how cycles quietly reset expectations statewide. Number 9, Oregon reveals the difference between vibe and viability. Portland's halo still attracts buyers to walkable pockets in leafy suburbs, but the math has turned sober. Suburban inventory is improving, especially in family-sized homes from the 1990s and 2000s that now need roofs, windows, or mechanical upgrades. Renovation premiums, paired with insurance adjustments, convert a promising list price into a monthly that overruns comfort. Inside the city, older craftsman charm meets contractor quotes and permitting timelines that slow decisions. Buyers are regaining inspection leverage. Contingencies stay, repair credits return, and sellers who anchor to 2022 comps watch their listings age into second and third weekends. The right listings still clear, yet average houses negotiate. Pay attention to the spread between original list and contract price, and to the rising share of cuts in HOA-heavy townhomes on the east side. If you're selling, price to today and advertise a permanent rate buydown on day one. If you're buying, compare the true monthly to renting nearby and walk if the delta is thin. Oregon isn't sliding off a cliff, it's normalizing, and normalization rewards patience, paperwork, and precise underwriting over impulse. At 8, North Carolina's momentum cools where supply pipelines meet the payment ceiling. Charlotte and Raleigh still attract employers and talent, yet a steady flow of new subdivisions and HOA communities has raised choice while softening urgency. Rates and fees push the all-in monthly above local comfort for many first-timers, and especially once taxes, insurance, and utilities are modeled honestly. Investors are less aggressive than in 2021, focusing on yield rather than appreciation, and mid-tier resales show a rising share of price cuts. Builders respond with incentives, closing credits, permanent buydowns, and design upgrades. But concessions can't change the math if the base price is off. Watch for longer days on market in far-flung exurbs and for contract fall-throughs on homes needing final punch list items. The right takeaway isn't fear, it's discipline. Underwrite HOA, covenants, reserves, and amenity fees, compare comparable rents, and use the second weekend to test seller resolve. If you're selling, skip the drip of microcuts and make the correct cut once, supported by impeccable presentation. North Carolina is not stalling out. It's shifting from momentum to negotiation, and the quiet negotiator will win more often than the loud bidder. At 7, Tennessee is shifting from sprint to measured pace. The Nashville-Murfreesboro corridors that absorbed wave after wave of new arrivals are no longer running on adrenaline alone. Builders aren't shouting launch dates. They're advertising rate buydowns, closing credits, and appliance packages because family-size inventory has normalized. The Saturday open house still draws a crowd, but the second weekend decides the deal. Older stock tells the story most clearly. HVAC near end of life. Galvanized plumbing, roofs that want attention. Buyers who once waived everything now insist on repairs or cash offsets. You can feel the tempo change in offers. Longer response windows, contingencies returning, appraisals that sellers take seriously. If you're buying, negotiate like a professional. Ask for a permanent buydown first, then price. Or if you're selling, pre-inspect and cure the obvious, because the first impression is no longer invincible. Tennessee's draw, music, jobs, no income tax, hasn't vanished. The monthly just weighs more. The lesson is simple. Time is leverage, and leverage belongs to the side that models the payment, not the postcard. Give yourself room to say no, and the right house will meet you halfway at the closing table. Every month matters. At 6, Georgia is where the payment stack goes from theory to lived experience. In the Atlanta metro bands, taxes, insurance, and HOA dues ride on top of higher rates and turn a decent sticker into a stretch monthly. Townhome and condo communities that once offered painless entry now post dues size for amenities, reserves, and rising insurance. The number looks small until you multiply it by 12 and add special assessments. In non-prime tracts, days on market slip past 30 and 45, and the first price cut is often followed by a second unless the seller moves to today's comp sheet. Dual-income households still want proximity, but the numbers nudge them farther out or into rent than pounce mode. If you're buying, underwrite the payment before the PIN, taxes by county, insurance quotes by roof age, HOA minutes by reserve study. Ask for a permanent rate buy-down and closing credit. Let the seller solve your monthly, not just your price. If you're selling, don't drip microcuts. Make the right cut once, lead with incentives, and fix the items an inspector will flag. In 2025, Georgia rewards the operator who respects math over momentum. At 5, Colorado trades romance for rigor. The Front Range still sells a lifestyle. Trailheads at lunch, powder on weekends, but the ledger pushes back. Mountain-adjacent premiums test budgets, especially when insurance, utilities, and HOA dues are added to a higher rate. Investor appetite has cooled in marginal submarkets. Flips give way to holds, and some holds to exits as carrying costs outrun rents. You'll notice more relists, longer stalls after inspection, and price improvements on homes where renovation premiums loom. Dated kitchens, original windows, aging mechanicals. The best houses still command attention. Average ones negotiate. If you're buying, separate Vista from value. Model the monthly with unforgiving assumptions, then ask the seller to fund a permanent buy-down before you talk about price. If you're selling, pre-inspect, replace the obvious, and price to condition rather than last year's postcard. In exurbs, time becomes the hidden tax. Longer commutes, higher fuel, fewer services, so buyers demand a discount or a concession stack. Colorado isn't closing, it's calibrating. The people who win here read the spreadsheet without flinching, then move exactly when the market blinks. Discipline beats drama, precision purchases survive every weather change. At 4, Arizona is where the sizzle meets the spreadsheet. Phoenix and Tucson still glow on postcards, sun, pools, golf. But pockets of oversupply from the builder surge are telling a different story. Subdivisions that frame nonstop now release finished inventory into a slower lane. Meanwhile, insurance and HOA requirements add quiet weight to every mortgage quote. Short-term rental yields that once paid the note are softer, squeezed by more listings and stricter rules. The result? Mid-tier resales move only with concessions, closing credits, permanent buy-downs, even prepaid HOA dues, and absorption slows outside A-grade product near jobs and top schools. Investors read the board first. Some are trimming exposure or swapping to markets with cleaner math. If you're buying, underwrite the monthly before you admire the backsplash. Roof age, insurance quotes, HOA reserves, assessment risk. If you're selling, price to today, not to your neighbor's 2022 victory lap, and lead with incentives on day one. The FOMO has flipped. Patience, diligence, and a solvable payment are the new premium. Cash flow, not headlines, closes deals here. At 3, Idaho is learning that automatic appreciation isn't automatic. Boise, Meridian, and Nampa still deliver sunshine, trails, and short commutes. Yet the migration wave has slowed, and affordability ceilings are visible across 2015 to 2019 subdivisions. Those homes look turnkey until you price windows, HVAC refreshes, exterior paint, and rising insurance. Suddenly, the true monthly overtakes the headline price. Days on market climb first in fringe tracts and long drive exurbs. The price cut share expands where lawns are big, garages are 3-car, and taxes plus utilities nudge budgets over the line. Investors are choosier, favoring yield over hope, and buyers who once waived everything now keep inspections, request credits, and walk when numbers don't pencil. If you're entering, be the boring grown-up. Compare HOA reserves, model premiums forward, and stack the total monthly against a comparable rental. If you're listing, sharpen condition and price to move before winter resets traffic. Boise isn't breaking, it's recalibrating, and that favors the calm operator who treats emotion as a data point, not a decision rule. At 2, Texas proves that supply can outlast urgency. DFW, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston still build at scale, and that massive new home pipeline keeps inventory elevated even as demand rotates. Concessions are now standard issue. Permanent rate buydowns, closing costs, design credits, even blinds and backyard packages if you ask. Yet insurance and property taxes inflate the all-in monthly, particularly on larger footprints and master plan communities with robust amenities. Pendings slip first in far-flung exurbs, where commute time is the hidden tax. Second owners list against builder incentives and discover the price gap isn't closing without help. For buyers, this is leverage in plain sight. Target spec homes aging past 30 days. Pair an aggressive inspection with a buy-down request, and compare net monthly to a nearly identical new build down the street. For sellers, speed beats pride. Price to today's comp, pre-inspect, and bring your incentive stack to the first weekend. Texas isn't falling, it's digesting supply, and digestion favors the disciplined negotiator over the nostalgic anchor. At number 1, Florida. The allure hasn't dimmed, the sun, the lifestyle, the migration story, but the math has changed. Insurance shocks, beefed up HOA reserves, and special assessments tied to safety upgrades are landing on the same bill as higher rates. Lenders price storm risk more bluntly, carriers do too. In non-prime coastal strips and certain inland pockets, inventory is rising, price cut shares are jumping, and pendings are lighter than the postcards suggest. Investors who once floated the note with short-term rental income are listing or exiting as carrying costs bite, and the gap between trophy and average widens by the week. Beauty isn't enough if the payment fails. Act like an operator. If you're buying, target listings past 30 days, request a permanent rate buy-down plus closing credits, and underwrite reserves, insurance histories, and upcoming assessments before you fall for the view. If you're selling, price to today's comps, pre-inspect the unit, and put incentives up front. Chasing the market down is the costliest habit in Florida now. The state still shines, but leverage belongs to whoever fully solves the monthly first. Here's how to turn this map into advantage. Buyers, stop chasing fresh listings and hunt the 21, 30, 45-day group where carrying costs soften resolve. Ask for seller credits and a permanent rate buy-down before negotiating price. Make the payment solvable, then sharpen the number. Read HOA minutes and reserve studies, confirm insurance quotes in writing, and model special assessments and utilities forward 12 months. Time offers near month end or immediately after a second reduction, and keep inspections intact. You're buying a monthly, not a mystery. If the rent comparison beats your modeled payment and the house isn't unique, wait. Optionality is a position. Sellers, price to today's comps, not last spring's memory. Pre-inspect, cure the deal killers, and publish the receipts. Lead with incentives on day 1. Credit for a permanent buy-down, prepaid dues, closing costs, so buyers see a path to yes. Skip the drip of microcuts. Make the right cut once, then defend it with superior condition, staging, and photography. Speed and clarity beat stubbornness. Now I want your ground truth. Where are price cuts accelerating? Which buildings are raising fees or facing assessments? Drop your intel in the comments and I'll prioritize viewer-requested deep dives by state and city. Next up, we'll map the green shoots, where inventory is up but buyers are coming back, and how to pounce without overpaying. Your market could be on that list, or it could be the next to turn. Either way, we'll navigate it together. Stay disciplined, stay data-driven, and protect your margin every time.